going? Can you guys hear me? Awesome. Hello, Pepper. It's the first time I had a robot on stage. Or is that a robot? Maybe AI or something? Anyways, today I'm going to talk to you about content as a growth engine and how to use content and content marketing to drive growth for your companies. Before I jump in, raise of hands if you are currently investing in content marketing. How many people can understand me, first of all? Yeah? Okay, good, good. I'll take the laughs as everyone. But if you can't, my slides are online. But it's awesome to see so many people actually leverage content marketing. How many people here, raise of hands, if you are seeing ROI from content marketing? Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today, is taking that content marketing investment that you have and actually getting an ROI from it. I had already a great welcome. I run a marketing agency called WebProfits. We work with all different types of companies. I've worked with hundreds of different B2B, e-commerce, all various types of business models to help them with growth. And one of my, the most successful channel for me has been content marketing. And I also have another company called Ramp Ventures, and Ramp Ventures runs about 7 SaaS businesses, and so we do the same things that we do for clients for ourselves. So this is my growth engine. Everything I do, you can see that I have different models. I have ebooks I sell, we have online training, we have SaaS businesses, the agency. They're worth different price points, but ultimately, we have one marketing funnel. We have one business at the end of the day. And the way I broke it down is there's the things that we do that are scalable, things that everybody here can do. And then the other side, we have non-scalable things that because of the groundwork we've laid and just consistently working on content marketing and growing our business, it's opportunities that have come up, like writing a book. That's something everybody can do, but it's something that not everyone usually invests in. So this isn't just to show you like, hey, this is all the things we're doing, but I wanted to share the results of all this specific funnel. So we invest in content marketing on every layer of the funnel, and these are some of the results it's received for us, or it's gotten us. At WhenIWork.com, a company I was the head of marketing prior to doing WebProfits and Ramp Ventures, we've gained about 5,000 new trials and leads per month just by investing and doing content marketing. WebProfits, Mailshake, and Link Texting, all companies we own, you can see the ROI we've received. And if we don't see ROI, we go and scrub it and revamp it. And I have one rule I follow, one simple rule when it comes to content marketing. And this is, if you follow this rule, this will be the essential make or break of content marketing. At the end of the day, everybody should be able to create content, but it's those who create content that is significantly better than your best competitors that win, because you're just creating content that levels up the industry. It's hard to compete with people who are the best. So your job, if you're creating content, is you need to be better than the current best, and that's how you can win. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about content, how it relates to the funnel. You can see that there's different types of content that could fit on the top of the funnel, the awareness, the conversion. You okay? He can't hear me. Okay.
Oh shit. Hi.
Hello. Okay, back to business, guys. All right, so there's different content. This is really entertaining for me personally. Okay.
Hi.
All right, no more interruptions, Pepper. All right, so
Sorry.
there's different content for various parts of the funnel. And if you can see here, at the top of the funnel, there's co-marketing, things that you can do with other brands. And I'm going to get into this in a lot more detail throughout the presentation. There's like epic content. It's also known as 10x content, essentially ebooks, guides, interactive content, things that are more than just an article. They're a product almost, and you can launch it like a product. Guest posts, getting your name out there, that gives you a lot more awareness because you're going in front of someone else's audience. And content circles, I'll explain content circles in a little bit, but that's a great way to get out there. In the middle of the funnel, you have things like influencer content, right? Getting other people who have brands to write for yourself, or personal brands, or who have influence in the space to write for your blog, your company, because they have authority and now they're passing it to you. Other things like video, webinars, again, co-marketing and behind-the-scenes content. Because behind the scenes, when you create content that shows you how you work, frankly, it builds trust with people, and it builds some rapport that shows people what you actually do. And lastly, when you get people to the funnel, let's say they sign up, you do a good job, you convert them, things like customer stories, asking your customers questions, conducting surveys, and so on also work. And it's also the same stuff you use for the top of the funnel. I think a lot of people misunderstand or don't utilize your customers to do marketing for you, and that's where a lot of the growth can come from. So let's jump into it. We're going to talk about 11 different tactics that can help you leverage content marketing. And before I move on, I want to start with another quote, because this is a very important rule. This is my number 2 rule, and this is something I think a lot of people don't follow, is to stop creating mediocre content and start creating epic content, things that are better, more robust, and are more interactive, that give the user a much better experience. And so with that, I'm going to start with epic content. So epic content is our ebook, something that's interactive. On the right-hand side, you can see here, this is a blog post. It's a blog post that essentially has different grids, and it's organized, and it's actually HTML. You can click through different things. It has navigational elements, ultimately, but it looks pretty. And a good design actually helps make regular content stand out. And on the other side is an ebook that we launched for my own company, Mailshake, and it's essentially to help our customers, to help the industry do a better job. And why we created this is because we didn't see anything that was great out there, so let's beat the competition, and so we created about a 70-page guide to do so. I don't think you can see that screenshot on the previous slide, but there's literally 1.5 million views to this blog post. 1.5. It gets about 100,000 visitors a month. Now, that's US traffic. It might be different in different countries, but at the end of the day, one blog post generates 100,000 visitors a month. Even if it's a tenth of that, even 1% of that is pretty good. So invest in epic content. Now, it's going to take you time. It's going to take you months to create this. Our ebook that we created for Mailshake took about 3.5 months, and then we spent another 6 months promoting it. But it is a huge traffic driver for us. It gets shared in a lot of Facebook groups, and our customers love it, and it's a way for our customers to share it, spread the word about our product by sharing a good piece of content. So I mentioned earlier, I'm going to explain to you what Content Circles is. Content Circles is another great way to essentially promote your content or get your right content on. So Content Circles is essentially the things that circle your topic. I think a lot of people make mistakes by talking about if they're in a specific industry, they talk about their specific industry. Well, when you talk about your specific industry, you only target people who care about your specific topic. If you go broader and you think about the topics that relate to your industry, it could do better. All right, so here's an example. So at wheniwork.com, we're an employee scheduling tool. That's boring. If we talked about employee scheduling tools, one person in life would care. One. That's not going to do us anything. But we started talking about what are things that are related to, or thinking about things that are related to scheduling. So things like employee engagement. Who's the audience? Small businesses. Thinking about human resources, culture, management, productivity. These are all things from talking to our customers we realize that these guys are interested in. So it's not about what our customers or what our product does, employee scheduling. It's about what our customers are interested in. And they're interested in, how do I hire? How do I fire employees? How do I build culture? How do I get them to show up on time? Things like that. And when we started writing about that, we built a bigger and bigger and bigger audience, because it's broader than just scheduling. And that, again, that was boring. So when you combine scheduling, or when you combine epic content plus Content Circles, so think about something that's a very, very robust 10x piece, an ebook, let's say, and you combine that with something that's right outside your industry, that's when the magic happens. And there's 3 examples here. On the outskirts, customer delight and customer advocacy is something we did for ourselves. So customer advocacy has really nothing to do, or not much to do, with WebProfits. We're a digital marketing agency. We don't even provide customer advocacy. But if our customers, the person that we target to or sell to is a VP of marketing CMO, we found out through research that CMOs and VP marketings often are in meetings or discussing customer advocacy. So it's, again, one thing that's right outside our content circle or right outside our industry that is something that people are related to. And I've gotten more interviews, more press, and more value from talking about customer advocacy than I have of digital marketing or content marketing, because there's a lot more people competing with the space. And in the middle here, we did this for one of our clients, a Small Orange. It's a hosting company out in the US. And we built this playbook, and the keyword we were trying to target was personal branding. And personal branding was really, really powerful because everybody wants to build a personal brand. And how do you build your personal brand? Well, the book goes into, you should start a blog. What do you need when you have a blog? You probably need WordPress. You need some sort of hosting. And that's where the hook was. So because it was so far away from what the hosting company did as providing value and building a brand and blogging, it actually generated a lot more shares. And this single piece of content actually generated more customers than all of our SEO and digital marketing efforts last year, just from this one piece of content. So it can be very, very powerful. All right, a couple more things is to use your best content, your epic content, to nurture and onboard customers. So you know that ebook I created for Mailshake? Well, when you sign up for Mailshake, the first email you get is that ebook, because it lets people it lets the customers, it helps leverage that piece of content and educate the customers, but also it lets the customers take advantage of all the top of the funnel. You don't want to stop communicating with them right after they sign up. You're losing out more than half of the ROI you would normally get. So take that content, even if it's not epic, even if it's just very, very impactful, take the content you create for the top of the funnel and use it throughout the funnel and for onboarding and educating new customers. Here's another really, really good one that I found to be very successful for me, is taking guest posts and SEO. So you do your keyword research. So let's walk through the process of what I mean by this. So essentially what I'm trying to do is write on other people's blogs and leverage their domain authority and their SEO value to rank for keywords that I think they can rank for. Not what I can rank for, but that site can do. So for example, what I do, and this is harder to do than it sounds, but first and foremost, you make a list of all the people, all the blogs in your industry. I usually organize them by the number of Twitter followers or some sort of social kind of clout, and also domain authority. These are the sites I want to reach out to. This is my goal to go after. So for me, it would be in the growth space or digital marketing space, it would be Marketing Land, SEMrush, all these different blogs essentially that I want to rank on, or I want to write for. I want them to rank. The next thing you do is to use a tool like SEMrush to figure out what keywords they're ranking for now, what keywords they're strong in. So for example, SEMrush, they better be strong. Let's just say they're strong in SEO, or they're strong in keyword research. So what I want to do then is write something for SEMrush that's related to keyword research, but that's also something that would be relevant for me. So for example, if I'm talking, because I'm a content marketer, I would talk about how proper keyword research can effectively make your, let's say, can 2x your content marketing efforts, but something that ties in what they do and what they're strong in and what value I'm trying to get. And when you do that, you start to leverage these blogs' strengths, and you can quickly get ranking. So it's a great way to shortcut the SEO space and to shortcut the 12, 9, 2 years it takes to rank on SEO these days. Again, I mentioned this earlier, inviting influencers to guest posts can be very, very strong. It's almost like when they write for you, you're leveraging their brand, their clout. That's why the rise of roundups and things like that, they're leveraging experts or people who have brands essentially for your brand, your site. Nobody ever has a problem when you make them look good. And this is exactly what this does for you. And it also helps you educate. Again, if you're going to use your content for your customers, it also helps you bring in those customers, help you tie in the influencer and that customer or your brand together to that customer, making you look a lot more authoritative. I mentioned this earlier as well, creating behind the scenes content for the bottom of the funnel. behind the scenes content can be that difference between somebody signing up and not signing up. And here's 2 examples. We're a digital marketing agency. There are 1 million or more digital marketing agencies out there. A lot of people do this. What makes us different? Well, here's 2 things that make us different. So that screenshot I shared with you in the beginning of my growth plan or my marketing funnel, well, I made a whole video on that. Why that's important is that it literally walks through the steps of what we're doing so people understand it. And if we're willing to share that, we must be awesome, right? The other thing we actually have is the way our team is structured. One of our core differentiators at WebProfits is our team structure. It's very similar. It's structured to a in-house team, in that we have different advantages and things like that that make us stronger because we have a full stack marketing team. But essentially, these are things that are probably not very. They're not going to generate much traffic for us, but they generate a lot of sales. So these are actually pieces of content I created based off of our sales calls. So these are the most common questions we get asked in a sales call. Now, if I were to just answer it on the call, yeah, that's cool. Everybody can talk about it. But if I sent them a blog post beforehand, well, that means I'm prepared. That means I get asked this, and it makes me look a lot better because I'm proactively answering their question. They have to believe me if I have already written a blog post about this, 6 months, 2 years before I even have that call. So again, it helps with that trust and preemptively solving those problems that you have in that sales cycle at the very bottom of the funnel. So look at if I were you, look at the friction points you have and start creating content that could be top of the funnel for you. All right. Interviewing your customers, interviewing people, and telling their stories can be very, very powerful. What I do is I don't just interview customers and talk about like, hey, tell me how awesome it is to use Mailshake. I don't care about that. I interview customers and influencers in the space, and I ask them about how are you doing X. So Mailshake is a sales prospecting cold email tool. So I interview customers and ask them how they're doing cold emailing, what they're doing to be successful. I interview the most successful ones, and this will help me educate my customers as well as the industry. Again, I don't make this about me. I don't make this about what we do at all. It doesn't matter what we do. We want to advocate for the industry. And by advocating for the industry, we become synonymous as the brand for the industry. Now, you don't just it's not one and done. You have to do this over and over again. We do these monthly, but at the end of the day, you have customers. They're using your product. They're using your service. They're buying from you. Talk to them. Build content around them. It's very, very powerful. As I mentioned, engaging your customers is very, very, very powerful. I like to survey the audience. I like to survey the customers. So if you don't have enough customers, survey your website visitors, survey your blog visitors, survey your email list, and create ebooks and content around their biggest problems. I guarantee you, if you solve your customers' problems, they're going to share your content more. You're going to increase word of mouth. This happens as you solve their problems. So here's an example. At WebProfits, we created a guide on Snapchat. This was a year ago when people knew a little less about Snapchat and how to use it. We surveyed our audience, and we asked them, like, what are you most interested in? What confuses you the most? What do you want to learn about? And the rising word, like Snapchat was one of the biggest things that people posted about. And it's not necessarily, again, a service that we do or anything related to our business, but it's related to questions and problems our customers have. So we just started solving that. All right, I've got a couple more, and then we'll leave you to lunch. Repurpose your best content. Your webinars, your ebooks, microsites, even your blog posts can be turned into an ebook. In fact, many of my ebooks and content starts off as a blog post, and then I kind of expand from there. Webinars I turn them into blog posts. Talks like this, we can turn them into a blog post. In fact, this very presentation started as a blog post, then to webinars, and now I do a few talks a year with this exact presentation. So it can be very, very powerful. This is an example of what we did. We took a very successful blog post for a company we work with, Reward Stream, a referral marketing software, and we wrote a blog post. It did incredibly well, and so we turned it into a presentation because people understand things in different ways. Some people like to listen to audiobooks. Some people like to read ebooks. Some people will just read a blog post and be happy with it. Some people like to attend webinars. Whatever floats your boat, I'm not here to tell you that, but I can tell you that if you solve our podcast, if you solve different formats, you can win. So our podcast, I have a podcast called Growth Mapping Podcast. Essentially, it's rehashing things that we write about that are really successful. It's more it's said and displayed in a more engaging way, but essentially it's the same answer or the same concept. All right. And the last one I'll leave you guys with here is to teach your sales and support teams or your customer success team to send that top of the funnel content or content from the blog that's helpful when they're talking to their customers. So one of the best practices we implement at my company is for our customer support, at the end of each customer support ticket, they send a blog post that is most relevant to that customer. Now, it takes an extra 2 minutes because the customer support person has to look into that company, what they do, that position, maybe even look at their account and what they're doing, and look at the problem and the context that they're talking to us about, and then find an article. So what the marketing team did, what my team did, is essentially list out a ton of articles that can be that are categorized by different tags. And so now my customer support person and sales team goes to a Google spreadsheet and they find an article that's most relevant and say, P.S. I thought you might enjoy this article. And the sales team does it the same way after phone calls. They use it as a mechanism to follow up. At the end of each phone call, they say, hey, hope you don't mind. Even if you don't go with us, we're going to send you a few articles that I think you'll find interesting and help grow your business. And by doing that, we have one, a reason to engage later with valuable content. And two, we're leaving people with content. We're using that same content for consideration for our customers. And if you're too lazy like me, you can use a tool called Sigster, and it automatically, it adds content to your signature via a banner. Really, really easy. And thank you all for listening. Check out my YouTube channel if you want to look out for more videos and content. Thank you.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
I thought I was going to leave that to Pepper.
What's happening to me? I can't see anything anymore.
Thank you so much. This really shows how powerful it could be to use content in different ways. You said something.
Where are you? I can't see you anymore.
We are here, Pepper. It's lunch soon. You said something I thought was really, really important. It's always about the customer, right? Isn't that kind of the...
Absolutely. And I think that's something people forget. They forget because it's so in your face. It's so like right here. Your customer should be in your face that people think like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. They spend more time doing competitor analysis than building out customer persona, doing customer research or user feedback. And the good thing is that when you have a company, a product, whatever you're selling or however your business is structured, you don't need to know your customer 100% of your customer. It's a journey that you kind of go through over the years. So when we started Mailshake, we didn't really know who our customer was. We thought, we're like, okay, we're going to build this thing for 1 to 5 person sales teams.
And that's pretty common, I think.
Yeah.
You thought you knew.
I thought I knew. And then as we do user surveys, we realize, oh, actually, we have a lot of bloggers. We have a lot of podcast people, just different use cases. And so we update our beliefs. We update our content strategy. It's ever evolving. So don't feel like you have to know it day one.
Yeah.
And
Smart tips, dude. I like him. Epic is way better than boring.
Yeah, we like him too. Mats, do you have any questions?
No questions from the audience. But what can you say about content marketing in general? What are the hottest trends right now?
Yeah, good question. Hot trends in content marketing right now.
Yeah, so one of the hottest trends is ungated content. So you take your ebook, the things that like HubSpot has been known for, building out these like checklists, templates, ebooks, worksheets, requiring people to enter their information in, and you ungate it. What I've found by doing this, I've done this about 5 times now. Like an ebook that's pretty much an HTML consumable piece of content. By ungating it, my email opt-ins actually went up. Because let's face it, no one could read 100 pages on their web browser. Nobody ever does it, even if they could, right? So what happens is people opt in. And so you have still the email opt-in bar, and you deliver it via PDF or what have you, but you ungate the content, and it also increases your top of the funnel. So that's, I would say that's the single biggest thing. The number 2 thing is video. Video is very, very powerful. Because like social networks like LinkedIn and Facebook are heavily weighing their algorithms to focus on delivery of video, and don't forget about the second biggest search engine, YouTube. You don't need, what I like about video is you don't need tens of thousands of views, or you don't need thousands of views. You need hundreds, you need dozens. The engagement I found to be 10x of written content. So you can get 100 views and get 10 comments, and it really make a difference to 10 people, which is probably what you would get on 1,000, maybe 2,000 people on a blog post.
Okay, big thank you. Thank you so much for coming to Webbdagarna.